Hello dear children, welcome you all back to chemistry class. In our last class we have learned about the utility of oxygen gas in air. We have also learned about the discovery, composition and properties of oxygen gas. In today's class we are going to learn about carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas was discovered by the famous scientist Van Helmont in the year 1630. About 0.02 to 0.03 percentage of air comprises of carbon dioxide gas, which means the concentration of carbon dioxide in air is 0.02 to 0.03 percentage. Some of the important properties of carbon dioxide gas are carbon dioxide, same like nitrogen and oxygen gas, they are colorless, odorless and tasteless. So nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide, they are colorless, odorless and they are tasteless. Now when we come to density of carbon dioxide is 1.5 times heavier than that of dry air. And carbon dioxide gas is fairly soluble in water. We have learned in case of nitrogen is very slightly soluble in water, and in case of oxygen is also only slightly soluble in water, but carbon dioxide is fairly soluble in water. Carbon dioxide is a gas which is non-combustible and it is a non-supporter of combustion. Now we have learnt in case of nitrogen and oxygen, both nitrogen and oxygen are neutral in nature, but carbon dioxide is a gas which is slightly acidic in nature. Now when we come to reactivity, carbon dioxide is a chemically reactive gas. So we have learnt that in case of nitrogen is chemically inert or it is unreactive, especially at low temperatures. But in case of oxygen, we have learned it is chemically reactive. Same as the case with carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a chemically reactive gas. Now let us learn what is the use or utility of carbon dioxide in the air. There are two important uses of carbon dioxide in the air. They are carbon dioxide is very much essential for the process of photosynthesis in plants, and carbon dioxide is also essential for warming up of Earth's environment. Now let us see, why is carbon dioxide important for the process of photosynthesis? Now we all know that green plants prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. That is, as you see here, green plants, they take up or they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and with the help of carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and the green pigment called chlorophyll, they prepare their food, that is, the products formed are carbon dioxide and oxygen. So this glucose, that is carbon dioxide formed, will be stored in plants. That will be the food for the plant, and this process is known as photosynthesis. So here we see that carbon dioxide is essential for the process of photosynthesis in plants. Now carbon dioxide is also essential for warming up of Earth's environment. Now let us see, how is carbon dioxide essential for warming up of Earth's environment. Now we know that when sun's rays fall on the surface of the Earth, sun's rays consist of infrared rays, visible rays and ultraviolet rays. So as you can see here in the picture, when sun's rays fall on the surface of the Earth, some of the rays are absorbed by Earth's surface by gases that are present in the atmosphere, while some other rays are reflected back. So mostly ultraviolet rays and visible rays, as they fall on the surface of the Earth, they are reflected back. But rays like infrared rays, as it falls on the surface of the Earth, gases like carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere will prevent the infrared rays or the IR rays from getting radiated out of the Earth's surface. So here you can see that carbon dioxide gas will trap infrared rays from getting radiated out of the Earth's surface, thus keeping the Earth's surface warm. So here we can see that presence of carbon dioxide will prevent IR rays from getting radiated, and hence it will warm up the Earth's environment. Now, can you think of what happens if there is more amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? So when there is more amount of carbon dioxide, the amount of these rays trapped will be more. Now this will lead to an increase in temperature on the Earth's surface. So here we can see that when there is more amount of carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere, it will trap more of infrared rays, thus leading to a gradual increase in the temperature of Earth's surface. Now this gradual increase in temperature of the Earth's surface is known as global warming. Now global warming is caused mainly due to greenhouse effect. Now greenhouse effect is the process of trapping of heat, that is all these infrared radiations on the Earth's surface because of greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and some other gases. So greenhouse effect will lead to global warming. So here we can see that carbon dioxide is essential for warming up of Earth's environment. So an increase in amount of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere, an increase in amount of few other gases in the Earth's atmosphere will lead to greenhouse effect, thus leading to gradual increase in temperature of the Earth's surface called as global warming. We have now learned about nitrogen and oxygen. We have also learned about carbon dioxide. We will now have a look at other components of air, that is water vapor, rare gases and some other impurities present in the air. First, let's have a look at water vapor. The amount of water vapor present in the air varies from one place to another place and also varies from one season to another season. So we can say that the amount of water vapor present in the air, it is variable. For example, the amount of water vapor in coastal area will be more compared to the amount of water vapor in a plain region. Same is the case, the amount of water vapor during rainy season will be more compared to the amount of water vapor in the air during summer season. So we can say that the composition of water vapor in the air is variable. Now let us have a look at few of the important properties of water vapor. Water vapor is colorless, odorless, and it is almost tasteless. Water vapor is neutral in nature, which means it is neither acidic nor it is basic in nature. Now let's have a look at some of the important uses of water vapor. The amount of water vapor that is present in the air, if it is in excess amount, it actually decreases the rate of evaporation. So water vapor is essential for controlling evaporation. For example, when there is very less water vapor present in the air, we call that as dry air, isn't it? Yes, so in case of dry air, we know that the rate of evaporation will be more. But when there is excess of water vapor present in the air, we say that it is humid air, that is, humidity of air will be more. So in such cases, it minimizes the rate of evaporation. So that is why we say that the excess amount of water vapor present in the air controls evaporation. Water vapor is also helpful in determining climatic conditions. Excess amount of water vapor present in the air, this actually lead to the formation of rain, mist, fog, dew, etc. So water vapor is essential for determining climatic conditions. Also, when there is rainfall, we know that when there is excess amount of water vapor and when there is rainfall, this rainfall is essential for the growth of plants and also for the life of animals. So water vapor is also essential for growth of plants and also for the survival of animals.